Good afternoon to everyone but Slasher, to all the non-combo shops players. Vintage Challenge time. 1 week until the Mox Showcase Qualifier event, biggest vintage event in the upcoming, I don't know, months or something. Anyways, gonna try out a new Dredge list that's been popping up recently. Sliversmote. It's a ghoul. Zombie vampire. Comes back when you have gained 3 life. Conveniently, Creeping Chill is gaining you 3 life. So it's a new version of Dredge. I know a bunch of the Japanese Dredge players have been playing it. I just took the latest list from Vintage Champion Wizard 2002 from a prelim. So this is a Dredge list that does not feature Bridge from Below. It does not feature Cabal Therapy. It has decided to go away from those cards and focus more on another card that comes back from the yard, as well as, got some Griefs in here. Noxious Revival to help bring back Bazaar. It's not like too far departed from a normal Dredge list, but it is, it's some new tech. This was tried in the beginning and when it first was released, and no one really liked it. But maybe the meta has shifted to a place where this makes more sense than bridge tokens. And that could definitely be true. I don't really know. I don't play too much Dredge, but it's nice to every once in a while expand the range and add some more decks to your arsenal. So we're going to play round 1 right now versus Budakov. Should be fun. Okay, round 1, Vintage Challenge versus Budakov. We don't have a Bazaar, and so you have to mulligan. When you play Dredge, your starting hand must have a Bazaar of Baghdad. So we get to powder. Didn't find one. Mulligan. Didn't find one. Mulligan. Didn't find one. Mulligan. Found one. Keep. 3 cards to the bottom. Powder. Chill. And what? Oh, hope you're doing better. So let's see. I'm never going to really be able to force in this game. I just have way too low of cards. I don't have a Dredger at all. Like, obviously, I'm keeping Bazaar and Hollow One. And I think having an Icarid is more important than having access to force. But I am on the draw, so there's a chance that I just go, Icarid to the bottom, force their first play, draw a card, play Bazaar. Well, Bazaar, pitch the card I drew and the 2 cards off of Bazaar and play Hollow One. So I think if we were on the play, I would get rid of a force. But because we're on the draw, I'm actually just going to get rid of this Icarid. I think I still have enough, right? I can draw for turn and then discard and draw 3, and I can still play this Hollow One. I think it's good. It's just a choice. I mean, it's a choice for sure. I would suspect that Budakov is probably on like a Grixis Tinker list, but we'll have to see. All right, so force, pitching force. Oh, we got him to pitch Tinker. That's a really, really big win for us. So keeping force ended up paying off pretty well. And yeah, so now we just activate Bazaar. We don't hit a Dredger, which is definitely not great. All right, Saga, Time Walk. This looks pretty bad for me, as it's likely they have a Needle or a Soul Guide Lantern in their deck. This is like the biggest problem with Saga is usually it's too slow, but if you have a hand where you can combine your Saga with a Time Walk, you can use it as a tutor, reliably enough. I mean, their hand was what? Ancestral, Force, Tinker, Time Walk? Yeah, I mean, that's that's a strong hand. That is a way to succeed in Vintage, for sure. All right, we did hit a Stinkweed Imp. Get to Dredge here. Hit an Archamoeba, hit a Prized Amalgam. Okay, this went really well. Like this, we got the ability to bring in an Archamoeba and a Prized Amalgam before they could even finish their saga, and that's with a time walk. So that was not a bad set of dredges by any means. They'll just take the 4. Interesting. I guess they could probably get these constructs big enough to eventually block. This is a pretty good board, though, so even if they do get a Needle or a Soul Guide Lantern, it doesn't look too bad for us. I would say, what, they're going to get a Needle? Because I guess the Soul Guide Lantern hits my 1 Dredger. It's pretty good. Okay, so they're going to get a Needle. So I still have an Icarid and a Dredger, but I can't really bring back this Icarid because I want to use my Dredger. My attack is still good until they play another artifact, which doesn't seem like they have. So my attack still looks good. Oh, they're going to come in? Sure, I don't care. I take it. You got it. No problem. I could get in 3 damage, but it should be better to Dredge, I would think. Yep, hit a Chill, hit another 2 Dredgers, and another Icarid, so. I currently have 3 of my 4 Chills gone now, yeah. Is this a Lightning Bolt? Or maybe a Red Elemental Blast? Yeah. Still fine? Are you gonna go to 5? Sure. Okay. I mean, I have 2 Icarids coming back next turn. So they're dead on board. Last Chill is on the bottom, so we do have no more Chills left. That is a true statement as well. I could bring back 1 Icarid and my Amalgam, or I could just bring back... Oh, I can bring back both Icarids and my Amalgam. Yeah, it's going to be good enough. Sure. I feel like if they just had cast this Ragavan, then they would have at least survived. I don't know. This is a kind of a weird dash to me. Yeah, what's up, Dan? This is a weird dash to me because now they just are leaving themselves dead on board. They don't have a time walk. They have a Dak Faden, Steel Hollow one. Oh, they just cast the Shambling Shell. Still dead on board though, right? No, they actually have just enough blockers by casting Shambling Shell. It's pretty funny. I'm just going to get rid of all of my Dredgers and get a Prized Amalgam to come back into play. And if they block with this, I get another Dredger back anyways, so... And this block is not particularly good. Oh, they can actually sacrifice this and put a 1/1 counter on this to trade with the hollow one? Ooh. That's kind of cool. I mean, they still look very dead, but it was cool. I've never seen that happen before, so... Yeah, I'm not sure that those plays made sense, but they were cool. All right, so Grixis Tinker. I don't... this is your disclaimer. I am not a necromancer. I do not know the ideal ways to sideboard. I'm just going to wing it. I would assume we want Force of Vigor. And I'm not sure how much you care about strip mines. My opponent is not strip mining me, so I don't really care about Revival, but Revival does give me more green cards for Vigor, so it's kind of hard to say. I think Mindbreak Trap is terrible. I wouldn't play it in any matchup that wasn't Doomsday or PO. Don't really think you need a Contagion, even if they have Jailers post board. I mean, they could have Jailers post board, so maybe we want at least a Contagion. Grief probably gets worse on the draw. Yeah, there's a bunch of Japanese players and Wizard. They're all on this list now, so Trying to figure out if it's good or not. I don't know. I kind of feel like Grief on the Draw is not as good, and I'm not really sure I like Strip Mine and Wasteland against Saga. It just seems too... Like, Saga itself just seems far too slow, and you have Vigors coming in anyways. I don't know. It doesn't really feel like I need to make significant changes to the way the list is configured. I do worry about having enough green cards to cast Vigor. Obviously, there's like 10 in my deck, but you do get to dredge back some, so it's not like a true 10. But I just think these Noxious Revivals are so bad against non-Wasteland decks. I'm gonna try this. Seems reasonable. That was a Mold of 4. It was kind of an interesting game. No, it was Mold of 4, and I had no Dredgers on the first activation. Alright, no Bazaar. Have a Bazaar. Bottom. Just to chill. Alright, so I have access to turn 1 Vigor. And they have a Saga, so that's pretty good for me. Don't think there's any reason to cast this now. I have the ability to hit like Grief and blue cards and stuff like that. Interesting. All right, well now I think I'm gonna put the Ghoul in the yard, and I'm gonna put an Icarid. I guess I can put both Icarids in the Ghoul. I don't have, that would put no Dredgers though, and I think no Dredgers would be incorrect. Even though I like having access to 2 Vigors, I definitely think a Dredger should go in the yard. So I think I'm just gonna put Ghoul, Icarid, and Shambling Shell in the yard. Hopefully that doesn't come back and bite me, but yeah, I think there's a possibility I pitch a Shambling Shell for this first Vigor, and then yeah, all right. So now I feel pretty vindicated in what I'm doing here. I'm gonna pitch the Shambling Shell. Okay, so they have Tabernacle. So I didn't board in a Wasteland for Tabernacle, but I do get to hit Grafdigger's Cage and Saga with a Vigor. And they have their own force. So now I'm just going to dredge back the Shambling Shell. I guess I don't really want to activate my Bazaar. We'll have no dredgers. Yeah, I think I just want to dredge or bring back my Shambling Shell and then hit them on upkeep again. I mean, if they have a second force, I will lose this game. If they don't, then they probably have not much else, so. Tabernacle is pretty annoying. I have to kill them with, like, Icarids and Chills, which is definitely not ideal, but it's doable. Another Saga. That could be problematic at this point. Yeah, it's not great. I didn't hit a Dredger, huh? Huh. I really didn't hit a Dredger. I'm gonna just bring back... Yeah, I'm gonna bring back 1 off of Grief. And I think I'll bring back 1 off of Ghoul, because the Ghoul is never gonna live through the Tabernacle either. So get my 6 damage of burn in. So I guess I should have put some number of Saga, or some number of Wastelands in my deck to play around like 1 Tabernacle. And again, I am still... I don't know how many Icarids I'll actually be able to bring back this turn. Nah, 1 probably. It might be good enough. Yeah. I don't know if I was like super correct in bringing like eating the third Icarid, but it felt okay. So I don't have lethal. I'm gonna be one off, but if I hit a chill, oh wait, no, there's a saga going off. So I probably should have brought back 2 Icarids. Because this is gonna be what? Soul Guide Lantern? I'm gonna have 1 Icarid left in my deck and 3 chills. It's gonna be a pretty close game. My opponent had 2 Saga, Force of Will, Cage, Tabernacle, and it's going to be pretty close. I did, to be fair, have double Force of Vigor, double green card in my 10 green card deck. I do like bringing back at least 1 Icarid. I'm just trying to figure out, maybe I should have brought back 2 Icarids because I did know the Saga was going off to get another 3 damage in. I probably should have. That was a mistake. I should have brought back 2 Icarids, left myself with 1 Icarid. Because I knew the Saga is going to go off no matter what, and they're always going to get... They have a cage. They have 2 cages. Okay, so... All we have to do is dredge 3 chills, because cage doesn't actually stop chill. I guess it doesn't matter when I do this. Indestructible would bypass Tabernacle because it is a destroy and not a sacrifice. Thug, Imp. All right. Did I bottom a chill? I may have. So I will have to time it well. I gotta start doing some counting. All right, so I have 22 cards in my library. I can dredge 10. Does it matter? Well, I don't have any shambling shells, so I have dredges in 5s and dredges in 4s. I mean, I should be doing 10 this turn no matter what, right? If I do 10, I go to 11. Wait, dredge doesn't overdraw me, right? So as long as I'm dredging like if I activate and I have 1 card in library and I dredge 5, that's fine, right? I don't think that doesn't... Does dredge have to be exact? Why would I gotta read dredge? If you would draw a card, instead you may mill. I just have to have a card though, right? I have to mill that many cards. All right, so I have 22 cards, and I only have the ability to go 5s and 4s at the moment, and I have 2 shells left in my deck to go for 3s. I mean, as long as I do 2 5s right away, that puts me to 12, and then I can just do 3 4s. I think that makes sense. 5, 5. Oh, that's true. So if I dredge 5 right now, I would go to 7 cards, and I can do a 4 and a 3. Well, actually, I don't see any 3s right now. But I have 2 3s in my deck. Unless the 3s are the bottom 2 cards. Or I could just do 3/4s. I can just do 3/4s. That's good enough. Oh, do I have 3/4s? One thug. I do. I have two more. Okay. I have two more thugs. So they have to hit a Soul Guide Lantern on this turn or they die. Oh, they got a Time Walk. I guess if they have Time Walk plus Tinker into Sphinx, that would have done it too. Oh, I guess I could miss on the... oh, I guess they can hit Vault Key. Yeah, sure. That's kind of tilting. Well, they've already used Ancestral, so they would have to hit Yogwill. They drew Key Tinker. That's incredible. Oh, that's so tilting. So if I had brought back two Icarids, I would have won this game. So it's really on me. It was my own fault. If I had brought back two Icarids, I would have won this game. I'm going to take out Contagion. I'm going to bring in Strip Mines. And I'm going to take out... What do I take out? One Thug. One Ghoul. Two Ghouls? I don't know. Seems fine. Yeah, I mean, it was my own misplay. I knew that the Saga was going off. I should have brought back two Icarids. It was just bad play. You just don't want Wastelands at all? Even though we lost because there was a Tabernacle? Okay. That's definitely a way to think about it. I don't know, like, I just lost to Saga Tabernacle. Both of those would have been solved by having a Wasteland, right? Well, you definitely want them in the mirror. You can't really win the mirror without them. I'm not gonna have a black card, so I can just get rid of Grief, Imp, and Amalgam, and then have Double Force Hollow One? Sure. This gets Tabernacle, so I'm just gonna force it. Upkeep, Dredge, 5, 3, hit a chill. I guess I can just leave Misstep for like a cage or something. Seems fine. Chill you. Do I have any? I don't have any ghouls right now. It's kind of unfortunate. If I hit a ghoul, I can get back everything. Oh, this guess Narcomoeba works as well. I would rather... No. I don't think the force matters. I would much rather get maximum dredge value and have just keep Misstep. I don't think losing the force matters. I chose to do the play I chose, and I think I stand by that. we got to Dredge and hit an Archamoeba because we did that. If we didn't Dredge the way we did, we wouldn't have hit an Archamoeba, right? We dredged 5, and the 5 milling over the amount, the shambling shell, and then 3. If we had dredged the Stinkweed Imp, we wouldn't have been able to dredge the Stinkweed Imp twice. So, like, if we had dredged a natural dredge, we probably would have had to do... Yeah, we would have gone 2 less cards deep, in which case I don't think we hit the... Yeah, we don't hit the Narcomoeba, and we don't bring back the prize amalgams. Yeah. Like, I am leaving myself more open to, like, Tinker Sphinx. I do agree with that. But this gets 2 amalgams. I mean, it doesn't guarantee to get 2 amalgams in, but if my second Dredge 5 hits a ghoul, a ghoul or a Narcomoeba, I get back my amalgams. Though if I get back a ghoul, my amalgams might not come back before Cage, in which case you need Misstep. It's probably close. Take it. Round 2. Vintage Challenge up against Andy. Powder. Keep. Good thing is I got two Bazaars and a Noxious Revival. What did I lose? I lost 2 Icarids, a Thug, a Ghoul, a Grief, a Chill, a Hollow One, an Amalgam, a Narcomoeba, 2 Narcomoebas. All right, yeah, you see my hand. You got me. I have no dredgers. Okay. Now I have a dredger. Now I have a force. So I'm gonna pitch Dredger. No, yeah. I don't have double blue. Maybe I'm just supposed to go 1 Dredger, Serum Powder, Imp. No, I'm just gonna go 2 Dredgers. I think I'm gonna just do 2 Dredgers and a Powder, and then hold this extra blue card. It's like totally possible I negate something, and then maybe not. They know about my negate. They don't know about my force. Besiege you? Okay. Sure. So I don't need a revival. I have another Bazaar. Would rather just dredge and play another Bazaar. So, oh god, are we playing Bant Archon? Still? It's not an unreasonable choice in this metagame. I tried to play the Bant Archon deck, and I was not thrilled with how it played out. Or the 4-color Archon deck, maybe, with Deathray Shamans. Their deck probably plays main deck Endurance. Main deck Endurance seems quite good. Oh, that's not another green land, though. Is this just going to be Archon to make my Bazaar come into play tapped? Oko. I don't care about Oko, right? I think so. I don't see why I would care about an Oko. That just does not seem like something I would that matters to me. I'm just gonna dredge. Hope I hit some more dredgers. Yeah, there's a dredger. There's a dredger. I guess I'm never gonna have another blue card, so I might as well get rid of both of these things that are gonna come back and my biggest treasure. Well, you could also argue that Miharu should have been playing a different deck the whole time, right? Like, Oath has never actually been good. All right, so unless my opponent has an endurance, then they just have 2 amalgams and 2 ghouls coming back, and I don't imagine they can ever beat that. Well, at any point in life, you can have a revelation, all right? I think what's wrong is that people are all playing the bad Tinker deck still. But, I mean, I'm just going to keep saying that until people believe me. Yeah, there's been a player or two who's spiked an event with Oath. I'm not going to name names. I mean, you weren't here for the beginning, Slasher, but like I've been doing a lot of testing for the mocks, and I would, if I had to lay my life down and make a claim, I would say that the best Tinker deck does not play Saga. So I think Saga is a huge trap. I mean, I think I'm right. I'm going to try to prove it next weekend, so. I guess I have to spend a draw step getting back my Bazaar. So if I get Flusterstormed here, it's quite bad for me, right? It doesn't really matter, though. Saga helps you beat control decks, and control decks don't exist. So, like, what the fuck's the point? So, do I just let this Noxious go so that I can have Force of Will for an Endurance? Well, actually, they don't have double green. So, no? Kind of weird. I have to make sure I don't Dredge here. What is their last card? Another, oh, a Swords. Sure. Like, Saga's not helping you win the Tinker Mirror. So, why the fuck are we playing it? Yeah, it's just like the cards that my opponent drew this game didn't, well, They drew two cards that mattered, right? Boseiju and Wasteland, but I had a hand that was double Bizarre Noxious, so you just can't ever win. It's kind of dumb, but it is like it does be like that. It does be like that. All right, so we're bringing in Vigors and Contagions and Noxious, and we're taking out Negation and a Thug, a Ghoul, and a Grief. I don't know. Seems fine, right? Just trim. Want to keep in Anti-Wasteland. Maybe Vigor. I don't know exactly what Montolio's been playing. I assume they play Ley Lines. Montolio. 4-color Archon. No Ley Lines. 1 extra Boseiju, 1 Tabernacle, 1 Cage, 1 Needle, 3 Vigor, 2 Rav Trap. Jesus. Okay. So maybe we don't bring in Vigor? I mean, they still have Needle, Cage. If your deck is losing to an opponent's land making constructs, I think you're just playing a bad deck. That's kind of how I view it. Like, if you're dying to creatures in Vintage, you're probably just not tinkering enough. You're not POing enough. You're not Doomsday enough. You're not papping Bizarre enough. In the grand scheme of things, Saga constructs are like one of the weakest things you can be choosing to do in Vintage. This looks really bad for me, this matchup. They have so many things. I wonder if I should even be bringing in Vigors. They have 2 Containment Priest. All right, I'm actually off of the bring in Vigors. I'm going to get this Ghoul back in here, and I'm going to play a single Strip Mine. This, like, my opponent has 20 cards. Look at this deck. This deck is 3 Endurance, 2 Lavinia, a Boseiju, 4 Wasteland, Strip Mine, Boseiju, Tabernacle, Cage, Needle, Containment Priest, Ravenous Trap, Ravenous Trap. What the hell is that? What did Dredge do? Yes. Well, not exactly. They could die to Creeping Chills, right? I'm saying, like, if you're not playing a combo deck or a Bizarre deck, I don't really know why you're playing. But I guess, like, theoretically, the idea is that Andy's deck is going to beat combo and Bizarre because it has 10 cards for Bizarre and is naturally good against combo. I guess I have to keep, like, one of these Icarids, right? Keep. Well, the difference between combo and Bizarre is they take different cards to beat, not me, and I think that's very important. Yeah, Dress Down is super good against this kind of thing, for sure. Let's see if my opponent has a Rav Trap. I wasn't really talking about Andy's deck. I was more talking about, like, what's going on in chat. I don't really have, like, super... I don't really have, like, a lot of thoughts about Archon. It's kind of a niche thing. It definitely has... It makes sense to me why it would work, but it's also not my kind of playstyle, so... Sure. Like, Andy is a really smart Vintage player. He's not going to play this deck if he thinks it doesn't do the things that it's setting out to do. So if my Shambling Shell doesn't hit another Dredger here, it's a little awkward for me, but... It didn't hit another Dredger. Huh. That does make me want to play Bazaar and activate it, right? Well, I was always going to play Bazaar, but I was wondering if I was supposed to activate it. Because I could play another hollow one. But I could also overexpose myself to Endurance or Rav Trap. I guess, is that a bad thing? Like, I want to get them to use their Endurances and Rav Traps. Yeah, I feel like getting a hollow one is like the best possible thing here, so I might as well. This isn't the end of the world either. Getting a Dredger in the yard and Obnoxious Revival. Don't think that's terrible. Yeah. Now, does it make sense for me to do this on their stat and step? Probably. All right, so they did have the Endurance, but this just puts 3 Bazaars back in my deck. So they have 2 cards in hand, a Windswept Heath, and they have to beat a hollow one, and I am at nothing else, which is... Yeah, like I said, they have 10, 12 cards, 13, 14, 15 cards for Dredge, so it's going to be tough. Oh, I was so close. All right, so I have to hit this... I have to hit not 6 times. I have to hit 3 more times. Seems fairly unlikely. Oh, this doesn't shuffle? Oh, they're at the bottom. Okay, yeah, you're right. I'm like, I have to just hope my hollow one wins. I always think that Endurance shuffles, but I guess that's not exactly the case. It does shuffle, but not in the way that I'm thinking. All right, they hit a Moxen to get to play a dude that blocks. I mean, the minute they cast Swords, we are dead, right? I guess even Beseiju answers Hollow One, but that will shuffle the Bazaars back to the top. That's what this looks like. It's going to be Beseiju on my Hollow One. So the good news is I get to shuffle my library and put my Bazaars. I have 4 Bazaars to draw to now. So Slasher was wrong about Slasher was wrong about not shuffling. They probably should have done that after I drew. They shuffled 4 Bazaars into my deck. What do you want from me? That was it was a small misplay, but it was a relevant misplay. Oh, they have a Force as their last card. Are they out of cards and I have Dredgers? This game should be very over unless they draw a Wasteland here, maybe. Like, all right, like, yeah, I drew the best card, obviously, but if we're gonna like pick on me for missing a you know, not doing an Icarid, not Besieguing after I draw is a really big mistake. Not a really big mistake, but in the grand scheme of things, like, it's a mistake that can lose you the game, right? The little things that you do in these matchups matter a lot. So Hullbreacher is very good against Bazaar unless there's a Dredge card in the yard. Because if there's already a Dredge card in the yard, then Dredge replaces the draw and it doesn't stop it. Right? But if I don't have any Dredgers in my yard, Hullbreacher is not bad. So like Hullbreacher would actually be pretty good in the exact situation where, like, if my opponent instead of Besieguing had played a Hullbreacher and I drew a Bazaar, it would not be good for me. Kind of thing. Like, I obviously I drew extremely well here, and I got very lucky. but also like there was one Bazaar in my deck that I could have drawn to, right? Because 3 of my Bazaars were on the bottom of my deck. And so if you just wait till like beginning of combat or post main, like there's no reason to besage you in my upkeep. I had, 1 out in 20 cards or something, and then after besage you, I had 4 outs and 35 cards, or 4 outs and 40 cards, or it probably doubled or tripled or more the chance I drew a Bazaar, right? So it's super small, but it affects the odds a lot. Okay, round 3. Fight. No Bazaar. Bazaar. Keep. And many dredgers. Many, many, many dredgers. Unfortunately, I will not be able to make 4 seasons this June. I have some prior engagements stateside. But if you can go, you should go. Paper Legacy, Vintage, some team trios. Should be a cool event. Troll, Imp, Ghoul? I guess I should hold a Dredger, yeah? Does it matter? I don't know if it matters very much. I guess the only way it matters is if my opponent has a Soul Guide Lantern on turn 1. In which case, maybe this is like... I think I still want to pitch both of my best Dredgers. But like holding the 4 Dredger seems right. You don't want to play around hate too much in game 1s, but people do play main deck hate now, so... Volcanic Island. Emerald. And... Time Walk. It's a good start. That's fair. I think with Golgari Grave Troll and Imp, I shouldn't be worried about hitting Dredgers if I get Wastelanded, right? So I'd rather put like a Ghoul or an Amalgam in the yard. Is that a Taiga? What is happening? Why are we playing against all the Beseiju players? What's going on? Fine. Where'd all these people come from? Grave Troll. I hit the chill for my Imp, or for my Ghoul. Easy game. And I hit another Imp. I'm hitting all the crazy people playing Beseiju instead of playing Tinker, right? Sad day. Maybe it doesn't matter. Wooded Foothills to get my Taiga. That's where we're at in life. They're going to play Tarmogoyf, and we're going to lose to Tarmogoyf, and I'm going to be so sad. Badlands? We've got a Taiga and a Badlands? What kind of world are we living in? In the 2-0 bracket. Please don't play a Tarmogoyf. Oh, no. All right, well, I can kill both of the artifacts when they go to turn them on, so that's always good. We got some Wet Jund. That brings back an Amalgam. Oh, we're got 2 more dredgers left for 9. Yeah, this player registers 4-color Deathrite Shaman decks all the time. That's kind of their thing. They're always playing, like, sometimes it's 5 colors. Sometimes they play 5-color Deathrite Shaman decks. It's always like very far out there. They want to switch the Narcomoeba for a food token. What if I just kill them? Yeah, people do play Grafdigger's Cage and Historic in the main. They're going to crack the food token? Sure. I accept. It's kind of annoying because I play a deck that uses the graveyard as well. They're going to attack with the Ragavan. I guess they can play any of the dredgers they hit, so... Sure, I will block your Ragavan. I think I will kill the Oko, though. Seems like very reasonable to do so. I'm almost out of dredgers, actually. No, I'm not. I have 9 more dredges. 2 amalgams and Archon. All right, I hit 2 Icarids, 2 amalgams. Should be good. I think it's fine to just kill this Oko. Seems fine. I don't know if it's necessary, but I guess it's fine. So they're going to get a Ragavan hit in. Again, it's not a huge deal, but I felt like it was fine to trade an Archon for it. And then I'm going to bring back 2 Icarids off of 2 Griefs and get 2 Amalgams, and I probably win. I would think. So even though they had the Viseju, didn't look like it matters too much. Mental misstep, sure. Have a mental misstep. Why not? They haven't played a Tarmogoyf yet, though. All right, Grief. Grief. Dredge 4. All right, this is my last dredger. Hit another dredger and a Creeping Chill. Good game. Nice Viseju. All right. So we're playing against all kinds of nonsense today. Yeah, they always play like 5-color decks. It's crazy. 4-color Zenith. That's my GeoGuessr. All right, this. Leovold, Dark Confidant, Ragavan, 3 Deathrite Shamans. Because, you know... Wait, this is not the right deck because I don't see any Taigas or bad lands. I just want to see what kind of dredge hate they usually bring. They usually bring Tabernacles, Moons, Spell Bombs, Needles. Interesting. That is an odd array of graveyard hate. Huh, they don't even have any, like... They play a lot more than this. Because they haven't had any recent placings. I think I want at least Contagions and Revival. I don't think... I mean, maybe I'll play a Strip Mine. But I don't want Negation. And I don't... I think I'll just, like, cut, like, Negation, Thug, and a Ghoul like I did last time. This way I have outs to a tab, but I don't have to play a ton of outs. And then I have Contagion for Deathrite, and maybe like Jailer if they play a Jailer. Doesn't look like they're playing ley lines, so I think I can go light on Vigors until I see a ley line. If I see a ley line, then we'll bring 4 Vigors in for game 3. I don't remember the opponent as being a player who liked to play ley lines in their sideboard, so a little bit of it is like past knowledge of matches versus the opponent. Another part is like the last published deck list. Yo, thanks for the resubs, everybody. Dr. Bill, Empire, Gennaro, Fuzz, Dan, much appreciated. Do. All right, powder. It is kind of nice that if you consider Vintage to be the format where mulligans matter the most, that this deck is a powerful deck where mulligans matter the least. Like, mulligans matter, but like your mulliganing choices don't matter. You just keep until you have a Bazaar. Okay, so they immediately have a ley line. They immediately have 2 ley lines. All right, so we have a hollow one. And we have take a card out of their hand, but we don't have very many vigors in our deck. So let's start by griefing them. Endurance, Beseiju, Crew. So they're going to just Beseiju my hollow one. Why are you like this, opponent? Before I decide if I want to grief away this treasure cruise, yeah. I guess we will just grief away treasure cruise. I guess. Why not? All right, so they have Beseiju, Scalding Tarn, and I have a hollow one. It's not good for me, I would say. So we will have to bring in the other Vigors, because they are a Leyline gamer now. Who knows how many Beseijus they have in their deck? It's kind of cool that we actually are seeing people play Beseiju, because for the last couple weeks there haven't been very many Beseiju gamers, but in recent testing, I've been pretty happy with the card in certain decks. Does a lot of really powerful things. Well, the part that makes Beseiju balanced is it actually costs mana to use, so the decks like Dredge can't actually use it. So Strip Mine. I think strip mining their green source actually is quite good. I'm going to just hold my cards for a while. I'm going to probably go up to 3 cards before activating Bazaar, because I'd like to be able to hold a green card and a Vigor. Oh, they immediately hit another green source, but I guess I hit the blue source. Ah, Demonic Tutor. That's a good top deck as well. All right, well, I do feel like we are behind in this game. It's kind of interesting that my opponent put 2 ley lines in play. I think I would have just put 1 in play. But I guess it protects their Mox or something. A Vigor draw here would be 2 and 42, which is not very likely, but DT for waste. It's possible. I think they'll DT for Tarmogoyf. Bob. Renin 6. Okay. Yeah, sure, that makes sense as well, I guess. Yeah, I don't feel like we're winning this game. But maybe the real thing is I sideboarded very poorly. And I should have just boarded in all the Vigors and expected them to play ley lines. Again, I don't really remember them ever playing ley lines, so I can just concede if this doesn't hit Vigor, so all right, cool. All right, I'm gonna bring back Vigor, and I'm going to take. I'm just gonna take the Strip Mine out, and I'm gonna take out 1 more Trim. Second ghoul. Sure. Second ghoul. Sure. Second ghoul. I mean, I still think they could. I guess they're not likely to be a jailer. This still hits Deathrite Shaman. I don't know. Hard to say. I don't think Contagion is bad to have. This seems fine to me. My door is making sounds because it's windy. I should really move. All right, on the play. Have a Bazaar. Hope opponent doesn't have a ley line. They have the same chance of having a ley line as I do have having a Bazaar, right? So sounds bad. This is not a very good hand besides the fact that it has a Bazaar. The good thing is I am good against Wasteland. All right, they mull until they, until they have a ley line. So if they kept a hand that's based on Wasteland and not ley line, then not bad. All right, opponent did not have a ley line. 6-card hand. Activate Bazaar Baghdad. Okay. So I will put away Icarid, Ghoul, Thug, and then grief them. Want to do this first in case they have Rav Trap. So that way, if they Rav Trap me, I could still get a grief in the yard for a later Icarid. So placing this, yeah. Okay, so they're going to... Yeah, I guess this is fine. I lose my Dredger, but they lose 2 cards. They're down to 4 cards. Then I grief them down to... Wow. I grief them down to land, Ruby. Got it. I accept. So their hand was land, Ruby, Endurance, Oko. That is a sus keep. That is a super sus keep. I would not keep that when I have ley lines in my deck. No, they pitched an Oko. They drew a Deathrite Shaman? Holy shit, what is it like? All right, yeah, it's a good draw. It's such a good draw. Now I have to find like 2 Dredgers, right? I guess if I can just hit a Dredger right now, then it would be really good. So then I can put it back in my... Maybe that's not even good. I didn't hit a Dredger. Oh, we're so fucking dead. I can't believe we're gonna lose after my opponent's hand was land, Ruby. Wow. I did have the opportunity to revival the Dredger. I didn't think that was a good choice. I thought it was more likely my opponent had a Wasteland in hand than for revivaling the Dredger to matter. I don't know. I mean, I think I made the right play. I think it didn't work out, but all right, so I have a force. I'm not going to activate my Bazaar. I'm going to wait till the end step. I'm not going to bring back my Icarid. That seems like a waste. I think I have to like just do stuff on their end step. This Grief does not seem like a good play either. I have to find a way to get multiple Dredgers in the yard without them getting too much value. And then I have to just like overpower the Deathrite Shaman or draw a Contagion, which I did keep in. So here they eat Icarid, or I mean, probably eats Icarid. Makes the most sense. I think they probably... It's possible they're supposed to eat Icarid in upkeep, but this is fine too. So now they have 2 unknowns. Yeah, I mean... This isn't even a good draw if I have multiple Dredgers after, but I didn't have any Dredgers after. How many Dredgers did I put away? I only put away 1 Dredger on my first turn. Yeah, all I had was a Thug. Maybe I was supposed to revival it if all I had was a Thug. That feels like the worst play I could make if my opponent has a Wasteland, though, right? I don't like that play. Then, like, the nice thing is my opponent can't really play a 3-drop here because... Or maybe I'm wrong. I was going to say because then they can't use their Deathrite ability. Like, if they play an Oko now, I do think I would have to force it. I don't really have the strong ability to overpower this Deathrite at the moment. They got a Volcanic. They got a Ragavan. They got an Oko. All right, I'm going to force this Oko. And then I'm going to try to quickly Dredge while they can't use their Deathrite Shaman. So this play makes no sense to me. Oh, they have Flusterstorm. Wait, why would you leave in Flusterstorm? What is happening? You left in Flusterstorm? Sure. I guess. So they have an Oko, it doesn't do anything, and I have 2 activations of Bazaar to overpower this Deathrite Shaman. Sure. I mean, I'm going to be very sad if this fails, but I should win this game. Like, I'm activating Bazaar end step and upkeep and like they don't have any. They should not make this play. They should just leave open this Deathrite Shaman, right? I'm crazy. All right, please, Dredgers, any Dredgers? All right, there's at least a Dredger. This seems like a crazy play to me. Any more Dredgers? More Dredgers? No more Dredgers. Okay. But we got a bunch of prize amalgams, so should be good enough. This just seems like like this could never happen. This play could absolutely never... I could never get anything done if I hit 1 Dredger. Like, this Deathrite Shaman would stop me from doing that. I don't understand. All right, well, now they get to eat Golgari Grave Troll, so that's not bad. But I have 3 amalgams, so... I guess they get to switch a food for an amalgam, which is fine, but not like anything crazy. That was such a weird play. Oh, they stood up a food? Sure. I'm just going to attack all on Oko. They have a land. Sure. They should just eat my troll now. Yeah. So does it makes more sense to Bazaar in upkeep and then Dredge once, right? Or does it make more sense? No, it makes more sense to just draw naturally and then end step activate Bazaar. I'm killing Oko here no matter what. Yeah, I think that it makes more sense. Well, I get 1 Dredge in this way. Maybe not. I would be guaranteed a Dredge. whereas now I'm no longer guaranteed a dredge. I'm not 100% sure. This would be a spot where it'd be nice to have more reps, so I wouldn't have to think about it on the fly. The Oko is down. It's just a Deathrite Shaman versus 2 Amalgams, an Narcomoeba, and there's another Amalgam that maybe they like get greedy and eat the Amalgam. I guess that's possible. So they drew a Taiga. All right, so this looks pretty bad for them now. All right, so I'm looking for a second Dredger, basically. Or an Icarid. That would work as well. All right, second Dredger was found. I even can Noxious in response to something here. Would I Noxious? Probably. Yeah, I would. Yeah, now they're very dead. I could Noxious. No, they have a fetch land. I think just Noxiousing my own imp here means I get double imps, so that should just be good enough. I don't like the way my opponent played this game or the hand they kept. Imp. Yeah, they're just so dead. Like, it's possible I overpower the Deathrite Shaman anyways, but in this case, I would not have, so... yeah, Tabernacle wouldn't be great off the top, for sure. But I can't play around that at this point in the game, so... I just have to try to race. They have a lot of life gained, so... I think it's just Tabernacle. Tabernacle or Demonic Tabernacle are the two things. Or like Ancestral and Tabernacle. Like, I can't Noxious Revival to stop their draw step because they have a fetch land. Like, if they fetch for no reason here, then I did have an option to Noxious Revival lock them out of this game, but... I mean, they know that I don't have a Noxious Revival now, so they're allowed to do that. What did you draw, homie? They drew Treasure Cruise. They drew Treasure Cruise. That's a good one. Tabs? Any tabs? How many Icarids do I have? I only have one Icarid. Holy moly. Time Walk. Oh, could lose this game. Could lose this game. They should eat my Icarid here. I still think I like the play I made with Revival. I still think that makes sense. It'd be sad if I lose this game for sure. Such a close game for my opponent having Mox land. No, because I can't Noxious a land to the top of their library because they have a fetch land in play. So it didn't make sense for me to hold the Noxious. I couldn't Noxious lock them because they had a fetch. Yeah, no worries. They did shuffle here, so that's a good sign. If they hit a Tabernacle, I just legitimately lose on the spot, so... Spellbomb does not make me lose on the spot. They can still hit a Tabernacle off the Spellbomb, though. So they're playing Spellbomb and Leyline? Oh, it's possible. Yeah, that's possible as well. So they're playing Spellbomb and Leyline and Tab? Wow. Okay. All right, it's a Mox and a pass. Oh, maybe I'm not even supposed to let them gain 2 life there. Did I just like miss lethal because of that? Block, gain 2 to 12. Yeah, I just missed lethal because of that attack. If I had not activated that, I'm pretty bad. I just missed lethal because I activated my Bazaar, not thinking. That's a huge punt. Wow, I'm so stupid. They go to 1 now. Yeah, Yeah, they couldn't have gained 2 life if I had just not activated my Bazaar. Not a strong play. They draw Ancestral. That would be Narset. Narset can find Demonic. I kind of deserve to lose this game now. Ancestral, but they have no blue lands. Oh, they have oh no! Not the Taiga Badlands deck. No, where's the blue mana? Oh, I played that game really badly. I honestly played that game just quite abysmally. I was pretty tilted, I think, but oof, boy. Yeah, there was a lot of misplays to learn from in that game. That is for sure. The Taiga Badlands deck not having blue mana to cast Ancestral after Narset is... it's some kind of justice, I would say. Boom, here we go. Round 4, 3-0 with the new Sliversmote Dredge deck. My hand doesn't have a Bazaar. Mulligan. My hand has a Bazaar. Keep. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Just losing 10 minutes is not a huge deal with this deck. I don't think we've been below anything at all. I don't want to pitch either of these cards right now, so I don't think I'm going to grief pre-Bazaar. Interesting. I don't know. I want to cast grief. I guess I can get rid of Icarid. No, I guess I just get rid of Amalgam. I don't know if that makes the most sense, but... I'm not sure this is correct, but I don't know which one. I don't know the answer. All right, so... I'm just gonna get rid of this Time Walk. That's a hell of a hand. It's a good hand, though. I'm gonna get rid of this Time Walk so that they have less opportunities. I'm just worried. It's Renee, so it's pretty likely they're gonna find Tinker. It's just kind of how it works. Probe down. Sapphire gone. Ponder, I assume? Renee has a lot of stuff in this hand. Ponder. Renee's last Grixis Tinker list. 4 Hull Breachers. No Sphinx main. No Graveyard. Oh, Needle main. Ponder did not shuffle. Lotus dig through time. Yeah, stop it, Renee. Renee. Mercy, Renee. Mercy. I am just a simple 0 restricted. That's not true. 0 power player. I'm a budget player with no power. You can't do this to me. You can't just walk in here with 4 out of 9 of the power 9 in your opening hand when I have 0 in my deck. It's so rude. I assume they're just going to crack this and cast Dig, but what do I know? My opponent has a Jailer post board, a Needle, 2 Spell Bombs, a Cage, and a Tabernacle. This feels like a very losable game 1. It's probably a very good thing that Golgari Greattroll was restricted. At the time Golgari Greattroll was restricted, Dredge was putting up like absurd win rates and winning everything, and then they printed Force of Vigor. If Golgari Greattroll was like, oh, were they unrestricted? I don't think they were unrestricted at the same time as Force of Vigor, right? Not sure. But like, I'm very happy we don't have a format where Golgari Greattroll is unrestricted and Force of Vigor exists. Because Force of Vigor is absurd, and giving Dredge too many ways to cast it is not a good idea. And not only is it too many ways to cast it, it's also, you know, Dredge 6. All right, they did not decide to kill us. Oh, we're gonna get we can't get Hull Breacher because we have a Dredger, so we're fine there. We have Dredgers for days, many Dredgers. We didn't hit anything crazy here. We kind of need some better Dredgers, but or not better Dredgers, but better Dredges. We kind of want to hit Creeping Chill to bring back the Ghoul, maybe. I have a thug. I have my own Grave Troll now. I didn't hit anything. It's not a great sign because I'm not really tempoing my opponent out very well. They're only at 11. Feel like we're gonna get Vault Keyed this game and not have any way to deal with it. So they drew a fetch land off of their Ponder, which gives them, I mean, they still have tons of mana to use. So if they just sack this Lotus, they get to, oh, yeah, we're dead. Cool. I mean, I told you, Renee always has Tinker. Oh, they're going to get Yogwell. Okay. Yeah, it's probably good too. Does that set up a Tinker? Not technically. Renee's a little bit too powerful of a wizard to let Tinker be good. Yeah, this looks very bad. All right, so here's Yogg, Lotus, Mystical for Tinker. Yogg, Lotus, Mystical for Tinker. Tinker with land drop to give, walk to give, probe and ponder to give. It's probably good enough. 10 life. The good news is their hand is Dig Through Time Island. So we know they have nothing in their hand. It's just all off the top on this Tinker. Yep, Tinker. Tinker away the jet. And like I said, they have Tinker with Walk Probe. And they get to bring back Flooded Strand if they want. It still looks really bad, but it's not game. And if they miss somehow, then we have a lot of chills left. So they probed first? Why? Doesn't that just increase your chance of drawing Citadel? Seems incorrect. 8 life. I mean, hitting them for 7 is not nothing when they have are already playing a Flooded Strand from our graveyard. Oh, Tinker was a top deck tutor. You're right. You had to probe to get the Tinker. Yep. All right, so here's Ponder from the yard. This is definitely a situation where Citadel might not be good enough. 8 life. Chose to shuffle on Ponder. Pyroblast. Fetch, 6 life. That's 2 Creeping Chills. They do have a Time Walk, so I'm a little worried about that part of this. But they're also playing, you know, 4 Sagas, so... They're at 2 life. That's 1 chill. No, Flooded Strand was from the yard, so they could cast... All right, so I mean, they're at 2 life with a Gragavan and a Hull Breacher, a Dig Through Time they can't cast, an Island, and an active Citadel. I think that's winning for me, unless they hit something very nice, like a Time Twister. Did they play Time Twister? Time Twister? That would be bad. They drew Time Twister. They're so good. Why is Renee so good, man? They drew Time Twister for turn. And then they drew Needle. I can't beat this guy. He's so good at drawing the right thing. He's gonna type in chat, look how good Hull Breacher is. You know he's gonna type in chat, look how good Hull Breacher is. You know it's gonna happen. That's what he's gonna say. God damn it. Look how good my Hull Breacher is. Fucking Renee. Crazy. So crazy. There was only a pretty small sequence of draws that got them out of this game. That was the one, though. That was the one. I've made up for my 10-minute deficit, though, you know. That's the upside, right? It felt, I don't exactly agree with the way that Renee got to that situation. I feel like there were just ways you could have played that didn't involve, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I just feel like we didn't have to go Yogg-Will. We could have done different things, but maybe just like guaranteeing a time walk is going to be good enough. It's definitely possible. I'm dead. They're gonna say it. All right, so I'm gonna bring in Force of Vigor, 1 Strip Mine. I guess I have to bring in a Contagion for the Jailer. I'm gonna bring in a Contagion and a Strip Mine so I have access to ways to beat Jailer and Tabernacle, but I'm not gonna go too crazy about it. And I'm just gonna do the thing where I do Thug and Ghoul and call it a day. Yeah, I like this idea. Oh, that was so brutal. This is to be fair how my matches go versus Renee every time. If you've been a long-time viewer of the stream, you know how these go. To be fair, you have to also say that their top decks off Citadel did not look very strong, right? They didn't play multiple Moxen off of Citadel. It didn't seem like they had great Citadel hits. But again, I'm of the opinion that the Tinker Saga decks are not constructed in a way where they are going to have great Citadels often. They can have great Citadels, but they can also have bad Citadels, so... That's true, yeah. that is fair. That is fair. You see, I kind of disagree, Bookworm. I think it's the wrong play. I think it's just actually horrible. That you have a dig through time into a mystical tutor to set up Vault Key. There's no way in hell I'm ever mysticaling for Yogg-Will there. I think that play is not smart. I think it's just bad. That's not the way I play these decks, but maybe that's why I'm bad at Tinker Saga decks. Who knows? But if I can go 7 cards deep off of a dig through time and still cast Mystical for Tinker, I'm just going to do that. I don't see any reason to go Yogg-Will there. The only reason to go Yogg-Will is to set up Citadel with Time Walk, but I don't actually think Citadel with Time Walk is better. You had 10 life. It almost didn't work for them, you know? I think there's a large number of scenarios there where that cost you the game taking that line. Like, Renee didn't get, you know, it didn't cost Renee the game, but it could have. Not the greatest start for us, but it's not a terrible one. We have Bazaar and Force and the ability to get Vigor, so works out. Sure. I don't know. Do people agree? Would you have gone Mystical for Yogg there? I just don't think that makes sense. Dig Through Time just seems better. Like if you cast Dig Through Time, you can find either a Vault or Key, and then still Mystical for Tinker, or you could just straight up find Tinker. Yeah, I don't know. This seems sus to me. Yes, that's true. That's true. The Dig Through Timeline probably does not involve a Hull Breacher killing Justin for extra value points. That you joke, but I know Renee thinks like that. I know Renee's always looking for a place to drop a Hull Breacher and make me cry. So Dig left them with 2 Moxen. Dredge. I think I am just gonna hold open Force of Will. I could put a Prized Amalgam back. So I could actually keep Vigor here and put another Amalgam into play. But then I only have 1 Dredge 3 left. Oh no, I can still just Dredge back. I don't really like... I mean, they have Spellbomb, Cage, Tabernacle, Jailer. It's probably correct to keep Force of Will instead of having... I don't need a 3rd Amalgam, right? I don't think I need a 3rd Amalgam. I don't think I need a 3rd Amalgam. This also leaves me with more Dredgers. Hit a Chill. Hit an Imp. Okay. I have double Amalgam. Ancestral Recall. I mean, I think that just happens. I don't really think it makes sense to force this. Does it make sense to force this? Doesn't feel like it makes sense to force this. I lose my graveyard. I would still have almost a 2-turn clock. I'm gonna force this. It's kind of close. Oh, they know all my stuff, so see what happens. Yep, they have spell bomb. Okay. Yep. If I had just naturally drawn, I would have had a vigor. I mean, these are my last two figures. That's kind of funny. All right, yeah. I mean, I got super punished for activating my Bazaar there. I'm trying to put another Dredger and get a Dredger going because this attack is not 2 turns unless I need to hit a chill is what I'm trying to do. I think it makes sense to activate Upkeep there and try to hit big Dredges and get a chill. Second Saga. Okay. Well, that's a lot of lethal Narcomoebas. I guess they're going to get a cage, so they're not going to be lethal Narcomoebas. Or, I mean, oh, this Narcomoeba will help kill in the air. They won't be lethal Icarids. I would definitely like to hit a chill, all right? A chill. No, no chill. Absolutely no chill. So this is a chump block. They go to 4. This looks pretty bad for me. They get I guess a cage doesn't stop a chill, so they would get a second spell bomb. They get a second spell bomb. They hit my yard again. They make a blocker, and they're dead on board. I mean, maybe they just have Time Vault, and they just Volkey me. That's a very Renee thing to do. I guess Hold Breacher technically trades. I gotta be careful. If they leave open, like, Hold Breacher mana, I don't want to give them things. If they, like, spell bomb me and play Hold Breacher. Interesting. So we're making a blocker, and then what? We have to get... I assume they have to have a second spell bomb. Or like a Soul Guide Lantern, maybe. And then they need to find another blocker. Okay, we're not making a token. Okay. All right. It's probably not... I don't know. Both of them are not good for me. I don't really have any agency left here. I just have to hope it works out. Sit back, relax, enjoy the Merfolk Pirates. Oh, somebody is at Renee's door. So we're going to be chilling while we wait for Renee to kill us. How's it going, chat? What's going on with you? Saga is just bad in general, right? No. But Saga is actually better in multiples, I would say, because it contributes to the same game plan. So I don't know if that's really the case. Did anything come of the clip that went viral? No, it's still there. They're still win trading. It might be new people win trading. I don't know if they banned the first set of accounts, but I know Mengucci posted today that he ran into a bunch of win traders when he was trying to play vintage leagues. So no, that issue has not been resolved, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, I do acknowledge that the best ways to solve the issue take developer time. Like, the best ways to solve the issue are probably things like fixing the way the queues are set up in terms of how matches are accepted, and things like that are not instantaneous. You need a developer to figure something out, plan it, code it, peer review it, unit test it before you can ship it. So I acknowledge that even if they were considering fixing it, and they were considering fixing it the best way possible, that would not be an instantaneous thing. So they drew Tabernacle and got a fucking spell bomb. I can't. Oh my god, Renee is so good at this game. How does he do it? All right. He has to activate the spell bomb because I will just bring back these Icarids and they will die. And a Hull Breacher. So if I respond by dredging, he gets more spell bomb value. But if I don't respond by dredging, I can't activate my Bazaar anymore until I put a Shambling Shell in my yard, so it's bad. But yeah, I can't respond here. I have to just let this resolve, try to put an Icarid in play, let them hit my yard. Wait, no, can't I respond now and just try to hit... Wait, didn't they fuck this up? If I respond now and hit 2 chills, he loses. How many chills? 3 chills? 26 cards? I can dredge at least 9? How many Icarids? There's 1 Icarid left in my deck. Yeah, I'm gonna just go for it. One chill? Dredge 4? Dredge 4? Dredge 4 for second chill? Let's go! Yes! Die. All right, I'm gonna play a second Contagion. Nice Hull Breacher. Yeah, I think I picked the right spot. I liked how that came. I think I think opponent should have just used the spell bomb on their turn. I don't know. Kind of feels like they tried to extract the most value when if they extracted the minimal value, it would have been enough. If they just did it on their turn, they just get rid of my graveyard and play a Hull Breacher, isn't that just good enough? Feels like that's just good enough. Keep. I have one. Yeah, I don't want to bring in more than. I think I want to have an out to Tabernacle, but I don't know if I want to have like a ton of outs. How do they have probe every time? All right. You got me. You know the info. You've seen the stuff. I got all kinds of pitch. 4 pitch cards. No dredgers. Ooh, what did I just do to my... Oh. Ah, yeah, Black Lotus, classic. And it's classic Renee. 2 restricted cards. Let's keep count. I'm ahead on clock now, so there's always that as well. Okay. Is that a huge deal? It's only a big deal if they have turn 1 Tinker, right? I don't think it's a big deal. Having both chills in the top 9 out of 26 was incredibly lucky. Yeah, probe is very dumb. I hate playing with probe. I hate playing games of Magic where someone has a probe and someone does not have a probe. Kind of hate playing games of Magic where both players have a probe. Kind of hate playing games of Magic where a probe is involved. It's just not fun. You lose a lot of the upsides of a game of Magic, in my mind. A lot of the things that make Magic awesome are removed from the game when probe is involved. So, yeah, I don't like it very much. Whoa, that's a cool card. Evolving Door. It's a birthing pod for colors. Kind of cool. Oh, and you cast the card. It doesn't put it into play. What? That's kind of weird. I didn't even think about they would do that. Huh. I don't know. Interesting. That's a very interesting clause. It's a free. It was a free cast, right? But it's a cast and doesn't go straight to the battlefield. I don't know. I lost it. It's gone. No, you have to pay the cost? Oh, then it sucks. Oh, yeah. Now you have to pay the cost. All right, I'm off it. I'm off it. Not free. Why does Renee have 5 minutes on his clock? What's going on? Not debating anything. It's bad. All right. So we're currently on restricted card number 3, and we're debating this Ponder, And Renee knows the contents of my hand, so it's probably pretty important that you get this Ponder right. The Ponder was not a shuffle. The Ponder was not a shuffle. Here's a Saga. Okay. 2 blue mana floating, still. Hull Breacher. Nah, I don't know. Is it not Hull Breacher? Time Walk. That is a card that punishes me for not having either of my forces. Sure. Yeah. So that's what, the 5th restricted card? 4 restricted cards. We're 4 restricted cards deep plus a Saga. All right. So they have a Saga on 2 and a Volcanic. And what? I kind of need to hit a green card for Vigor, huh? Wow. Yeah. Moxton's a good draw. Kind of need to hit a green card for Vigor. Kind of need to hit a green card for Vigor. I can currently kill a Hull Breacher, so that's not a problem. Nah, Hull Breacher doesn't do anything here. I have a Contagion in my hand. I could just Grief first, though. I'm gonna just Grief first, though. Oh, they are gonna play a Hull Breacher. Isn't that just that's just fine, right? They don't have Forceful and Hull Breacher. They have 1 card left in their hand. All right. Well, they have a Hull Breacher and a Saga that may go off. I mean, I think I was still probably griefing, so I just need to find a green card, and I'm probably winning this game. To be fair, there are not that many green cards in my deck. If they... shit. So now they get a Saga token and a Cage or a Spell Bomb or a Needle. All right, I have to just keep Vigor and play Hollow One. Well, I didn't hit a green card, which is part of the issue with not having Noxious Revivals in my deck is my green count is super low. Yep, you make a 2/2 and then maybe a 3/3 depending on what you get. Are we not making one? That can't be good. If you're not getting a Saga token here, that means you drew Tinker? Or Dak? Or Hull Breacher? Yes, it's bad to hold a Bazaar because my opponent can get a Needle. My opponent has the option of Needle, Cage, Spell Bomb. See? This is why you don't keep Bazaar there. All right, so they have 1 card. They have a 3/3. I have a 4/4. I have a Vigor. So if I draw a green card, everything is good. I will bring back an Icarid for the damage while I can. And I drew a blue card. Okay. They blocked? Why? Confusing. Green card? Why would they block? They could just get a 4/4. Oh, come way! God, he's so good! It's ridiculous! It's so crazy! Did they bring in Blightsteel? Or, yeah, of course. It's so unreal! I have to draw green card right now. I have to draw green card exactly this turn. It's so good. He's so good. He always draws Tinker. He can be on no cards, and he always draws Tinker. Ah, it's unreal. With 1 minute left on the clock. I can't. If I hit a green card, I could never have lost this game. Because they wouldn't have even had Moxen to Tinker off of. Ancestral? I just can't win, man. Can't win, man. I was losing to any Tinker target that was a creature here. So yeah, I mean, Renee always beats me. That's how it is. If it's restricted, it's in Renee's hand. Just put it that way. I got massively just dumpstered here. Brutal. Fucking brutal, man. Yeah, I just had like that one turn where I activated Bazaar. I just had to hit green card. Because if I hit green card, kill Saga, game ends. Yeah, to be fair, Renee did misplay in game 2, and that would have been, you know, a 3-0 victory. So that is true. That is definitely true. That is definitely true. Damn. One day I'll beat Renee. All right. Round 5. We got to win 2 more rounds in a row to make top 8 with Dredge. Top of the leaderboard, Renee, Senpai, Yurchik, and Call Me Dragon. So at least 3 Tinker decks, probably 4 Tinker decks. Looks like we dodged some hard pairings here. Falcon Eye, Juju, Miharu, Sprouts, yeah, Dazai. Yeah, it's not an easy bracket here. Vintage Challenge is never an easy tournament. Powder. Lots of heavy hitters. Keep. 3 chills is not a fantastic keep. I'm not happy to see 0 dredgers, 3 chills, but I'm also never mulliganing a 7-card dredge hand, so you know, you got to take some L's. This is definitely an L. It would be better, I guess, if I hit a Grief to pitch one of these 2, but this is already a 4-card hand, basically. And also, my Silver Ghouls are quite bad when I don't have any chills in my deck. What do we got? Activate Bazaar of Baghdad. Second hollow one, not the worst. So I'm going to pitch this Icarid, this Amalgam, and one of these chills. And then cast. And then cast. I have no dredgers, fortunately. But 2 hollow ones plus a revival. Maybe that's good enough to beat some wizards. We'll see. Probe. Yeah, everybody gets to look at my hand today. I got nothing. What do you got? Island? Needle. Maybe not the format to be playing Bazaar of Baghdad in if you're not playing good God. If you're not playing Hogak. Yeah, you got turn 1 needle. You got me. You got me. Brutal. Savage. Wrecked. And a Lotus. Okay. Sure, what else? What else you got? That is not how that works when I have 0 dredgers. So, yeah. Just going to hit them for 11 and hope it's good enough. It might be good enough, to be fair. It's absolutely possible that this is good enough. I mean, I have lethal. I have turn 3 kill. They have a Lotus, so I'm a little scared, but it might... Like, unfortunately, I can't lock them with anything here. I can stop, like, a Mystical. That'd be interesting. They went bottom. So does turn 1 Needle... Is turn 1 Needle in game 1 good enough to beat Bazaar of Baghdad? Doesn't look like it. It doesn't seem to be the case. Draw a card. So should I just put Preordain on top of their deck? Yeah, that seems fine. It's got forced. What do they have? Time Walk? Ancestral. Yeah, that's probably not good enough either. It doesn't make sense that there are multiple hollow ones, you know? It doesn't make any sense. Looks like turn 1 Needle against no Dredgers. Not good enough. What a world we live in. What a world we live in. All right, take it back. Just play Bazaar anyways. Who cares? Deck's too broken. We do whatever, man. All right. Let's bring in Vigor and take out Noxious. Again, I think this is the correct way to board, but it just feels wrong. And I'm going to take out a single Smote for a Strip Mine. Now, again, for anyone who's here, who's new, at the beginning of this video, I said, I don't know if I'm boarding correctly because I don't play Dredge. So don't take any Dredge boarding plans from this stream as gospel. Ask your local Dredge expert what is right for you. If you are experiencing Bazaar of Baghdad in your life, consult your local Dredge expert to figure out how to sideboard. Are there any good fair decks in Vintage? No. I don't believe there are currently any good fair decks in Vintage. You can win with fair decks. I don't think they're good, though. Just recently, a Luris Standstill, 5-color Luris Standstill, top 8 at a showcase event. So you can always win with a fair deck. However, I don't recommend it. Some people do. Some people do. All right, nope. 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 All right. Nope. All right. It's about time. We haven't haven't had one of these yet. All right. Nope. All right. Well. I mulligan to 0, huh? Unlucky. Well, shit. You don't like to see that, but it can happen. I'm gonna see what they brought in for Graveyard Hate before we go next. I bet turn one win. I agree. Turn one Needle probably would win this game. True, true. I bet turn one Greater Moss Dog would win this game. That's okay. We just get in the, just let them get their good hand out of the way. It was a smart kind of a tactical decision. We wanted to let them use their good hand while we didn't have a good hand, and thus, we waste their good hand. Yes, that's what happened here. Yes, Dredge did not profit enough from London. We need better mulligan rules. See, it's not your average player wouldn't think about this, but you just gotta let them waste a good hand. Get rid of your bad hands. It's all about rationing your luck. It's a high level strategy. Not everybody does it, but if you know the pros they ration their luck very well. All right, can I go to the next game? Let's go to the next game. Why are we still playing? You're right, Saga beat me there. Oh no. Too funny. All right, on the play. 7-card Bizarre Hand. Nope. 6-card Bizarre Hand? Yes. I like this hand. No Dredger, though. No Dredger. Unplayable. Unkeepable hand. No, it's like 0.1% to miss on Bizarre. You have outdated math. With London Mulligan, it's like almost impossible. It's like 1% of the time or something. I have the data from Sullivan somewhere. I think it's in Bizarre. Uh, 0.01% of the time, or 0.3% of the time. I don't know what this means. No powder. No, with powder. 0.0. Yeah. It's like 99% chance to find a Bizarre. Consult your local Sullivan Brophy. All right, question. Do we grief them pre-Bizarre activation? In case they have Ravenous Trap? Sure. Why not? I think it was 97% before London. I think London changed it or something. I don't remember. I got my grief forced. Interesting. What does that mean? I guess there's like no harm in having Bizarre in play before I activate grief. Holy moly. I guess I'm just going to try to power through everything with 2 Bizarres. No, I'm going to try to hold up Force of Vigor or Negation, right? This is so bad for me. Where are my dredgers? This deck has powder. I mulliganed to powder. That happened. No dredgers, huh? I think we've used all our luck in the first 3 rounds, it seems. No bueno. Do I negate this? Probably not. Vault? Key? That's it? Natural draw, so I don't lose my force past the turn. What do you have? You have key plus fluster? What's going on? What do you got going on? No, you would have played it last turn. Lavinia? Bro, come on, man. Yeah, of course. Of course. Of course. Alright, whatever. We just lose the vault key. Fine. 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 This is what happens when you don't hit any dredgers. Everything goes downhill. Didn't hit any dredgers again. Oh, no, no, no. No, 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 no. It's so sad. We're just Shrek'd here. Yeah, it's ogre. Maybe they don't have it. Maybe they don't have it. They could just not have it, right? I didn't think negating the vault was good. Maybe they don't have it. Like, negating the vault, it feels like vault is bait. God, you found something? Why is everyone... Oh! Why is everybody else's top so much better than mine? I think we might still win this game. We've got Stinkweed, Thug, Icarid, 2 Amalgams. This is still winnable. It's still winnable. And a ghoul now. I mean, they're dead on board, right? No, they're almost dead on board. Maybe I should have held that vigor in case the Lavinia died. I didn't really think we'd make it that long. I guess I should have held vigor instead of... Why'd I hold hollow one? That was stupid. I knew I couldn't cast hollow one either. Should have held vigor. I'm pretty bad. That's a bad misplay. I hold vigor there. I know I have a shambling shell. So I only win this game if they pass the turn and have nothing. And oh my god, they found a tabernacle. Yeah. So I want this Icarid to be. I guess it doesn't matter. Lavinia stops vigor, yeah, but like they were gonna have to chump block the Lavinia at some point. Yep, Esper Tinker with the Tabernacle. Didn't hit any more Narcomoeba, any more Icarids, so that's pretty bad. Yeah, I mean, they keep finding things off of their tops. Maybe they'll skip their turn. But they have to use a black or a white mana. That's kind of helpful. Top, spin top. Top, spin top. No more black mana. That's good. Not that many great draws here. Oh, they just know that they have a Tinker? Oh, they know they have a Merchant. They got rid of their top. They get an Ancestral. That could go badly, though. There's so many bad draws in this deck. But I guess if you just draw Saga, then you win in 2 turns. It's probably good enough. I don't know. If I hit like a bunch of chills, how many chills do I have left? No, I only have 1 chill left. That's no good. I kind of needed to hit a second Icarid on that last Dredge. Or any of the Dredges, to be fair. If I had more Icarids, I would feel a lot better about this game. But if I can hit a chill here, then my Icarid is... Then they can't activate this Delta, which could be good. I don't think I would have fetched away my top and gotten a Merchant Scroll. I think that doesn't make sense. Just wait 1 more turn, draw your Merchant Scroll, then you have top and Merchant Scroll. I don't really like the play my opponent made very much. It just feels too aggressive. All right, I need to hit my 4th chill here, please, or more Icarids. I hit another Icarid, but I did not hit the chill. So they have kind of free reign here. Yeah, this looks bad. This looks bad. Kind of needed them not... They have Lavinia gone, but I don't have... I mean, I've just been dredging, so I don't have any follow-ups, right? So it doesn't even matter, because I can't cast this. So getting rid of the Lavinia doesn't even matter at this point in the game. They do put themselves dead on board, so they have to have something now. Oh, they have Vamp for key. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think my opponent did not play this game well, but it doesn't matter. Wow. If I had kept Vigor, I would have won this game. So I also didn't play well. If I had kept Vigor instead of Hollow One, this chump block with Lavinia means when they go for Vault Key, I kill their thing. It's true. It is true. Most of these, mistakes that I've made that have caused me to lose the game are really hard to see ahead of time. But there's just no reason to hold this Hollow One, so there's like it's kind of inexcusable at that point. So, like, it is definitely just a misplay that lost me the game, right? But again, it feels so awkward that the games came to this. It doesn't feel right. Like, the opponent should either have killed me a long time ago or I should have killed them a long time ago. The fact that this game went like 5-6 turns deep, it just feels so unlikely to me. Like, I only had 2 Icarids in the top 43 card or 33 cards, whereas if I hit a second Icarid in my top, 20 cards or so, then this game is just like it's over way too fast and they lose, but I just didn't hit that. So yeah. Yeah, I also don't know why opponent jumped. There's kind of no reason to jump. I have had a lot of hands with no dredgers early. If I had a dredger early, this also becomes not as much of an issue. But again, like, I can say all of these things as the reasons why I didn't think it would matter. But the end all be all is this Hollow One is going to do nothing the same amount that this Force of Vigor is going to do nothing. But there's a really weird endgame circumstance where I need a Vigor, but there's probably no endgame circumstance where I need a Hollow One, right? That's kind of how it goes down. So there's actually no reason for me to keep a Hollow One instead of a Vigor, and so it's kind of inexcusable at that point. Yeah, it's crazy that we got to learn the lesson that we did is kind of what I'm saying. It's very unlikely that we would have learned that lesson, but we did. And so now we learned. Sixth and final round of this vintage challenge up against Max, Doomsday Expert. Nope. Nope. Look, hopefully trying to find a hand with Bazaar and multiple dredgers, try to get some early chills. Fast attacks. Max was talking about chances of breakering in and such. I told him that I'm murdering him, so I can't seem to find a hand that works, so who knows? I will powder. I guess I'd like to keep a chill in my deck and a hollow one in my deck. Maybe a force. Nah, probably a hollow one. Oh, another one down. Mulligan again. Oh my god, mulligan again. Oh my god, I can't find a Bazaar. Oh no. Well, now I don't want to put force back in. I want to just put this, and this back in. Mulligan again. Mulligan again? Twice in one day? So I got the 1%er twice in one day. In one tournament, I have missed Bazaar twice now. This is crazy. You know the math Terabad is 1%. Everybody knows what I play every week, so yes. I play with open deck list every week, so I also played multiple serum powders in that sequence, so yeah. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. That's okay. I deserve it for not scooping you max anyways. It's okay. They had turn 2 kill. It's okay. Again, we're just getting their good hands out of the way. It's just smart play. Yeah, I know. It's kind of sad. We had a nice start to this tournament. Oh, yeah. Max has the best breakers. So he did ask, but I just told him I'm killing him for content. And so the minute I said I was killing him for content was the minute I would I would draw, mold a 0. Oh boy. All right, so mind break traps. And I need vigors for Leyline, and I'm gonna take out Noxious and 1 Thug and 1 Ghoul. Sibit. I was punished by the Moto gods. It happens. First, find a hand for Bazaar. Yeah, yeah. That's the real tactical play. When you mold a 1, you go, okay, I guess I'll scoop you in. True, true. That's just smart. All right, Doomsday on the play. No Bazaar. No Bazaar. I feel like I've been saying that a lot in the last 3 rounds, huh? Yeah, not great. Not ideal. Powder. Put it back. What's? Bazaar. Keep. Now they have a ley line. Yep. It hurts me. Baby, don't hurt me. A no green card. Wow, we are dying. We are dying. Not great for the home team. Not great for the home team here. As a green card, but does it resolve? Survey says upkeep. Get him? Oh, no. All right, well, seems that we didn't have to scoop because we were never winning anyways. Okay, you got me. Doomsday. Yes, I am. That is not a legal play. I cannot respond to them fetching on my turn by casting Force of Vigor on my turn. Not a legal play. Not a legal play. I could have let them draw. Maybe they go for a Doomsday. Maybe I Vigor, but they can just do nothing as well, and that's just giving them an extra draw. So I picked the right timing. They just had a bit fluster, and I died. Not much you can do. Like, if it's a force, then I can activate Bazaar, try to find a blue card, try to find a force, but I don't have that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I could have still drawn there and tried to find a force for the Doomsday, but I don't know. I guess I just didn't feel like a worthwhile endeavor. I did find the force for the Doomsday. Okay, so this is even better, right? Because this gives me a hollow one and a force of will. I don't know if that's actually better. So, but I wouldn't have found force if I had activated on their turn. So, a little bit here, a little bit there. All right, force your gush. This is not fast enough, right? I attack, they go to 5. I attack, they go to 1. It doesn't work out. I kind of needed them to have fetch. Did they fetch in this game? Yeah, they fetched once. Oh, they street wraith and kill me. Okay, fair enough. All right, we did. All right, we died. I don't know. Takeaways, ending section. This deck, it's not for me. I would prefer to not play this style of deck. A lot hinges on very specific things happening. I am, historically a very unlucky player, so I had to mulligan twice to 0, where that is only a 1% chance of happening. So in 6 rounds, I had a 1%er come up twice in my not my favor. Nothing I can do about that. That's just how this deck works. Yeah, I don't know. Dredge is Dredge. If you like Dredge, you like Dredge. If you don't like Dredge, you don't like Dredge. It's totally a viable deck, but it's also a deck that requires you to want to play this kind of style and enjoy this kind of style. So if you enjoyed that video, which I hope you did, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Free ways to help me grow the channel on YouTube. If you're on Twitch, check out the YouTube channel. We'll give you a little link. And I will see you in the next video. Oh, of note, there will be a Wednesday League stream, and that video will go up, but there will be no stream next Saturday, as I will be playing in the Mox Showcase Qualifier, the big vintage event, 24-player, 23-player, invite only, and I will be playing that off stream to try my best to win it. Lots of value in winning that tournament. At least $5,000. You get to play in the Mox. You get to play in the Pro Tour. That Pro Tour could feed you to another Pro Tours. So I really want to win that event. So I will be putting a lot of testing in this week. I will still do my Wednesday night fun stream, but I won't be streaming next Saturday. Thank you.